everyone. Welcome to New Testament News. Today we are going to be talking about King Solomon. I'm Alexis Brunk and I'm going to be the host for the segment today. So today I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what it looks like to be one of King Solomon's grooms and also a lot about what his stables looked like. King Solomon was one of the wisest men in the Bible. Although he failed like many of us do in day-to-day things, he was one of the men who asked for wisdom and discernment when God asked him if he could have anything in the world. That's what King Solomon asked for. We're going to talk about all the different animals that he had and what it looks like to retain all of those animals. So as you can see, I have two horses right here, and these are my two horses, and every year we have to look at what it would look like to feed both of these horses. And so all together, for one winter, just one winter, about 6 months of the year, it's approximated that due to the terrain and climate of Tennessee, that you need about 100 bales of hay for one horse. And so, if you look over here in this stall, then you can see that we have maybe about 35 bales of hay stacked together in this stall. According to 1 Kings chapter 4, it goes in detail through all the different things that King Solomon had and the things that he needed for those horses. And so according to chapter 4, verse 26, King Solomon had 4,000 stalls for chariot horses and 12,000 stalls for his other horses. And so if you look at this barn, we just have 4 stalls. We can house 4 horses here all together. And this barn could be the size of a small house, maybe a little bit bigger. Every horse requires different materials when it comes to riding a horse or when it comes to hitching it up to use it as a chariot horse or anything like that. As you can see, we have all different kinds of harnesses and headstalls and bits. Every single one of the horses that King Solomon had would require different materials in order to be successful. So now we're going to head inside and we're going to check out some of the saddles. So every horse is a different size. Both of these two saddles are two completely different sizes. This one is much wider and it's made for a roping saddle, and this is more made for a leisure trail saddle, but also could double as a roping saddle. And so all of these different things have different purposes. You can see all of the different pieces of equipment that we have in here, and it all basically helps drill down to what you want to do that day and what you want to do with that horse. When it comes to training horses, you need a lot of different training materials, and so it all kind of cracks down to what that horse's level is and what that is. As you can imagine, King Solomon would need an immense amount of tools, and he would need a lot of equipment for over 16,000 horses. And with offspring and everything like that, you can imagine that those horses only double by year, if not triple. So this here is Ransom. Ransom is well known as a quarter horse. It's his type of breed. And so these kinds of horses could be exactly what King Solomon was using. He might have had fancier horses for more fancier dress occasions, but as far as war horses and battle horses, this is the exact kind of horse that King Solomon would be looking for. Now we're going to go over a few briefs as far as care. So care is really important, and every single day, especially if it was a royal horse, well, horses would have to be taken care of. This means there was probably at least one hand per horse, or sometimes they'll split it up for one hand every 5 horses. And so these are 2 materials that I have that you often use to take care of a horse. So this brush, you can see he's got a little bit of dirt, and so I'm just going to brush all that dirt off right here. And now he's clean. And every horse, depending on their age, can also require different kinds of feed. He is an older horse, which means that he has to eat easier food that will break down because he's closer to a senior age. Now, from what I know about training horses and royal horses, if they were working horses for King Solomon, he would probably have to keep them around the ages from 4 to 9 years old, which means Ransom would have missed the mark and he would probably be retired. So if you'll come over here, then you can check out his feet. So this horse has 4 feet. Every horse has 4 feet. Every horse has 4 feet. And he also has 4 horseshoes. So if you come over here now, I'm going to lift up his foot and show you his horseshoe. You gotta come over here. Okay. So this foot is packed solid. So as you can see, this metal hoof pick is used to dislodge all of these materials. Now this is also something that King Solomon's crew would have had to do to take care of his horses every day. Because as you can see, some of these pieces of mud are a lot harder, which means that the harder it is, the more chance it would have to injure the horse. So I'm going to show you right here, this V, as you can see, this V right here is called the frog. I don't know who named it that and why, because I don't know, but right here is the most sensitive part of the horse. And so if this isn't cleaned out, then this could inflict danger on them and cause them pain if stones are pressed against his frog. So as I mentioned earlier, different horses are made and built for different things. So King Solomon probably had some performance horses, he probably had his war horses, and then he also had some recreational horses probably. So this is Dusty, and Dusty is built a lot more for an endurance horse. He's built a lot more for something that they would be looking for a war horse that would have a lot of stamina and basically a lot of things that would be able to get him through a battle. So if you come over here and you look at his chest, he has a very, very wide chest. And then you follow this up here to his shoulder. He has a massive shoulder and very, very large withers. And so these things can all attribute to him being a very sturdy, a very trustworthy horse, and something that you would be able to depend on when you knew you needed something to carry you or heavy loads for very long distances. Each horse has a different purpose, and they all have different things about them that make them unique. Thank you for tuning in today with New Testament News. So today we talked a lot about King Solomon and his horses and all of the things that go along with taking care of horses. Like I said, 16,000 horses would be a lot of work. And so with that being said, thanks for joining us today. Tune in next week.